To make the dried nettle fibres more malleable, we need to soak them in water. Only for 5 minutes or so. Once we've let them soak for a while, we need to dab off and dry off the excess moisture, just to make it easier to hold. Once we've dried off the excess, it's just a case of untangling them and straightening them all out and separating them with separate nettles and separate fibres. We won't need all of this bunch of nettles to make a bracelet, we just need a couple of these strands. And out of these two here, with these three, we're going to pick this middle one due to it being a nice fat one. And that'll give us a nice starting point for our bracelet. So now we need to half the nettle fibre, just straight down the middle, and then we're top and tail the nettle, putting the thinner side up against the fatter side, giving us hopefully the same thickness all the way down. So that's the skinny side there matching up with the fatter side. What I'm doing now is just making sure there is no leaf stalk attached to the nettles. So there's a little bit there, so just pull that part off and just double checking, making sure the nettle is nice and clean. No leaf stalk poking out, because that'll hinder us when we start twisting these fibres up. Here I'm gently applying pressure with my thumb and pulling the nettle through. What this does is help get any loose fibres that will break off anyway just out at the beginning. To make a start, we need to find the middle and then just come off centre from the middle of the fibres before we start twisting. And when we start twisting, your left hand is going to twist away from us. Yeah? Twisting away, your left hand, and your right hand is going to twist towards us. And when we put them together with both sides nice and taut, it'll naturally want to kink up on itself and create that first twist. Once we can create that first twist, we keep a hold of it with our index finger and thumb and twist up the left hand side to create it nice and tight. And then we'll swap hands over and twist up the other side. When we know they're nice and tight, we can twist them together and they'll coil up, just like that. All we do now is just rinse and repeat that process, making sure both sides are kept lovely and tight. As you see, we are just keeping each side nice and taut and then doing that final twist so it coils together. But if you struggle with that technique, we can swap over to this technique. So we're holding the majority of it in our left hand and keeping that join nipped with our thumb, and we twist up that bottom strand and come over the top. Twist up the bottom, pass it over the top. Again, it is just a case of rinse and repeat. Twist up the bottom, pass it over the top. And as we do that, we just inch with left hand where we're pinching it with our thumb, just ever so closer. Just keep inching it closer as we're twisting up, keeping a hold of that join. While we're doing this, we need to make sure them two separate strands don't tangle up at the bottom. We should keep an eye out on them and keep them separate. That's me swapping back over to the first technique now. As we get further down with bracelet or with piece of string that we're making, one side will start thinning out, so we need to add in a bit more nettles to keep both sides equal thickness. I've chosen this nettle to add in, but remember we need to top and tail the nettle first, so I'll split the nettle in half and then turn one side upside down and put the skinny end with the fat end, again keeping all of it roughly the same thickness all the way down the nettle. Also remembering to check the nettle for any leaf stalks sticking out of it, which will hinder us when we start twisting the fibres together. So just like that, we'll get rid of that one. Now I've checked this nettle over and I know it's ready to rock. So with it being the left hand side one that's getting a bit too thin, notice how that is underneath, yeah, and the right hand side one is sitting on top, but the left hand side one is underneath. So the new fibre must go underneath, just follow that pattern. So I placed it underneath there, matched it up with the fibre that I want to thicken up. Tuck that in, grab a hold of the join and just twist as what we would naturally, normally. We can add that tail down into the right hand side and twist that up, and it'll blend in and we will hardly notice the join. We're just going to keep on going now in either the first technique or the second technique. As we get more of this twisted up, we will need to start keeping an eye out on how long the bracelet's getting. I feel like we're getting quite close now, so we'd best check it. Yeah, still a little bit more to go, so we'll keep at it. Because I know I'm getting really close, I'm going to keep checking this quite often. So that is borderline, so I'll do another centimetre or so and again check it straight away. There we go. I think this one is just about right. So we're going to put a simple overhand knot. Put both the two strands together and just tie a simple overhand knot. And then when we tighten it, we'll just make sure we tighten it nice and gentle so it goes to the end of the twists. Just like that. Don't necessarily worry about the little strands hanging off, you'll struggle to snap them. Or we're going to tie another overhand knot. It can be a bit fiddly, but once we've got it, we're just going to again slowly tighten that up and try and get it nice and tight around and on top of that first knot. Again, don't worry about all the excess and daft little bits, because we can trim all them off at the end. And we'll cut the excess off now. So after trimming the end off, we can take all these little niggly bits and start trimming these off. So that's the knot created for the stopper, effectively. So now we need to look at trying to open up this end to create a soft shackle. So now once we've opened up the loop for the soft shackle, it's pretty much making sure the loop's going to be big enough to fit that knot through. Just like so. And then once we know it fits through, and then how we tighten up the bracelet is we just keep a hold of that and then twist the coil so it all twists back up and locks into place. I'm going to add this one to my collection. As you can see, I've got quite a few now, all made at different times, and the white ones are the older ones. This one here is around 5-6 weeks old. The second one is around 4 or 5 weeks old. Yeah, this one and that one is around 3 to 4 weeks. That one's 3 days, and that one you've just watched us make it. So I will take this one back off and trim off all the little tail ends and make it nice and neat. But if you end up giving it a go and making some nettle bracelets, join my Facebook group, Andy's Outings Bushcraft and Foraging, and share them. Share what you've made. Hope to see you in the group. Cheers for watching. Thank you.